We just moved into a new home with 2 young children. Let me tell you some of the tips that help make it go as smooth as possible. First of all, put in the prep. Okay, tip number 1, teach your kids, educate them on moving and what this means. I know ours had simple questions like, does my bed move? We're like, yes. What about our food? And how you can go grocery shopping and get new food. So prepare your kids. Maybe you watch some television shows like, Arthur or Bluey or something about moving. Maybe you get books from the library, anything and everything to help prep them and warn them. Now, I know some people don't take their kids when they go house shopping. Some people tend to hire a babysitter or leave them with grandma and grandpa. We took our kids. So the first time we ever saw the house, they saw it. And then when we came back for the inspection, we brought them as well and they saw it again. So our children had a decent amount of warning and times to see the house before we actually moved in. All right, we also spent time cleaning and prepping and they came for that as well. My second tip is to ditch your kids on moving day. Okay, we left our children with my sister and it was super, super helpful. We had them with us throughout a lot of the process, but the actual day of 4 to 6 hours maybe, they were with my sister out of our hair, and it made moving and setting up our new home so much easier and so much better without them here. Just that little bit of prep time was a game changer. Tip number 3 is to set up their space first. I would set up their bedrooms. We made sure their beds at least were built and that clothing was in their closet. So their rooms were very functional. Their beds, again, made, ready to go. Then another thing you could do is prep a playroom, a loft, a basement with toys. And it could also be a living room if you don't have any of those bonus or flex spaces. Either way, have a place for your children to safely play. That way that when they're playing and they're happy and they're busy, you are unpacking the kitchen or you are cleaning a bathroom. Give your children a safe place to go so they're not in your hair. And then another little tip on this, when you're packing up their room. So we waited on certain items until the very, very end. Things like their hatch light or their baby monitor or their special loveys. On the day we moved, we threw them in their hamper, which their hampers were pretty much empty at the time, maybe one dirty outfit, not a big deal. And then when we moved, their hamper went straight into their bedroom and we had those items ready to plug back in, put on their bed, and make it feel like home. Okay, so we utilized the hamper for important and last minute items. Prioritize food. One thing that I would recommend you clean pretty early on is your fridge and freezer, oven if you can, dishwasher if you can. Make sure you feed your kids food, because hungry kids are grouchy kids when you're trying to move and unpack. Have food, try to have foods that they like, that they're familiar with, easy foods, things like blueberries, you don't have to cut them versus strawberries, you might have to cut them up. Think easy, and maybe for you that's like Cliff Bars or it's like string cheese, okay? Familiar, but yet easy. For us, one thing we did during the moving process was we utilized our air fryer for things like chicken nuggets and fries. Not always the healthiest options, but it was quick, easy, and it kept us working on the house. And last but not least, I want to say, give yourself and your kids grace, okay? It's a big deal moving. It is a huge adjustment, so give everybody grace and time to adjust. All right, if you like mom tips like this, check out my channel. And I mentioned the hatch and baby monitor. I will link those in the description if you are interested. And I also have some videos going into more detail if you want to learn more about those products. We love them and have used them for so many years at this point. All right, see you in the next video. Until then, have a great day.